Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News Today starts now.
Good morning to you, Mid-Missouri. Today is Thursday, December 15th, 2022. I'm Jordan Berger. Thanks for waking up with us.
And I'm Tim Schmidt. Get ready for a much colder day outside. Temperatures are already down in the 20s and 30s in some spots this morning. Get ready for some chilly conditions today. Not much of a warm-up expected. A look at that temperature map this morning. Let's take a look at that. So right now, 36 is that temperature in Columbia. It is 38 in Jefferson City. A very cold day up ahead expected for us. And some of the wind chills already make it feel like it's 28 outside. Might even feel colder in some spots, as the wind is starting to pick up out from the west and northwest here today. Look for a lot of clouds today, too. Already back to an overcast sky after we ended the day with some sunshine yesterday. Coming up, we'll have the details on some snow flurries that we could see in the forecast today and that cold weather for the remainder of the week.
All right, Tim, thank you. A Columbia family is in mourning after two children were unable to escape a fire yesterday. Firefighters arrived on Worley Street near Claudel around 1:30 a.m. and found the upstairs fully on fire. The Columbia Fire Chief confirms there was one adult and 11 children in the townhome. A 4-year-old and a 7-year-old died inside the building. 3 other children went to a hospital, but family members say they are okay. Columbia police also responded, and an officer was treated for smoke inhalation. City officials, including the mayor, spoke yesterday, saying it's a tragedy for the community.
So we're working through the difficult times, and we've got some gray ahead, but we've got blue skies that will prevail eventually.
As a mother, I can imagine no loss. I can't imagine. This is horrible. And I know that no words can take away the pain and the loss from this.
Chief Farr says the cause of the fire is under investigation and the state fire marshal is helping out. He also says there were no smoke detectors on the second floor and the one on the main floor was not working.
KOMU 8 News has reported the past few weeks on Jason Washington, a Columbia father of 8 who went missing in the middle of October. Yesterday, his wife confirmed Washington's 7-year-old daughter and 4-year-old granddaughter were the children killed in that fire. Tamitra Williams says she was staying at her daughter's apartment with 11 children when the fire broke out. She says she put the kids to bed around 9:30 p.m. and woke up to someone shouting fire. She says that when she yelled for the children to jump out the windows, but 2 of the girls were too scared to jump.
In the fire department, they said they were side by side holding each other with their face down to the floor.
Collect kids' clothing since they lost everything in that fire.
The Ashland Police Department continues its search for 15-year-old Emily Dubes, who has been missing since December 4th. Last night, the Ashland community came together for a candlelight vigil hosted by Missing Missouri and Emily's family. The goal was for the community to show solidarity with the family, but also spread the word about the missing teen. The Ashland Police Department hasn't issued an Amber Alert or endangered person advisory because it doesn't meet criteria set by the state.
We called her in as missing. It's been put out that she's just a runaway. I just want people to know she's not just a runaway.
The police department has created a web page to help spread the word about Emily and for the public to give more information. Lincoln University celebrated 7 new graduates from its law enforcement training academy last night. Now, Lincoln is the only historical black college or university in the country to have its own police academy. This was the academy's 5th class since it opened in 2021. While the university says police staffing shortages are a problem across the state, filling vacant jobs isn't the only goal. Lincoln's police chief says he wants graduates to dedicate their careers to improving the lives of citizens in their new communities.
You can find crime anywhere, but can you solve problems in the communities? So we hope that our law enforcement academy graduates go to an agency and get into their communities, and while they're in those communities, solve problems while they're there.
Police staffing shortages remain a problem in Columbia. According to the police department, 24 police officers have left the force just this year.
Columbia Public Works has closed a block of Walnut Street because of structural issues with the nearby guitar building. Walnut Street is closed between North 8th and 9th Streets until further notice. An alley between the guitar building and the Blue Note is also closed. The city asks drivers and pedestrians to avoid the area. Welcome back. At least one person is dead following a tornado in Louisiana. The fatality in St. Charles Parish brings the total number of storm deaths in the state to 3. Several parishes in the New Orleans metro area were struck by devastating tornadoes. There have also been widespread power outages across the city. Experts say the severe threat is moving east. For another week until Friday, December 23rd. That would give Congress time to finalize a broader, full-year government funding deal. Negotiators have said they reached a framework for a spending bill, but more work needs to be done. The Senate passed a bill last night to ban TikTok from U.S. government devices. Republican Josh Hawley of Missouri sponsored the No TikTok on Government Devices Act, which passed by unanimous consent. While the short-form video app has more than 1 billion users worldwide, there are fears the Chinese government could misuse customers' data. While the Senate has taken action, a companion bill that was introduced in the House last year is currently stuck in committee. Representatives of ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns TikTok, did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
The man accused of attacking Michigan, Arizona, and Wisconsin.
President Biden spoke with leaders of several African nations during the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. The president and first lady hosted a dinner for the leaders last night. In his toast, President Biden touched on slavery, calling it America's, quote, original sin. The president says he wants to advance the partnership. Senegal's president spoke last night in agreement.
We share the same spirit. We want to advance our common agenda with you and take our partnership to the next level in an inclusive approach, bringing together governments, the private sector, civil society, and the African diaspora.
Today will open with a session on partnering with the African Union's strategic vision for the continent. The Federal Reserve announced it will raise the interest rate by 0.5 point, marking the highest level in 15 years. The rate-setting Federal Open Market Committee voted for the boost, taking the rate to a targeted range between 4.25% and 4.5%. This most recent raise indicates that the fight against inflation is not over yet, despite seeing some promising signs. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell noted that the 0.5 point increase was an appropriate move in aiding inflation's return to 2% over time. Despite the rate going up, Powell added that longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored.
8 social media influencers are facing federal charges for a multi-million-dollar scheme involving stocks. The Securities and Exchange Commission targeted 7 Twitter users who say they promoted certain stocks on the messaging app Discord to followers, then quietly sold their positions after the stock prices went up. The Justice Department says $114 million in profits were made in the scheme. One podcaster was also charged in the illicit trading plot. The DOJ has also filed criminal fraud charges against the 8 defendants. Well, another media giant is cutting back on expenses. The Washington Post announced that it will lay off about 9% of its staff. The layoffs will begin in the first quarter of the new year. Employees expressed anger at their publisher and how he handled the news. In a meeting, he refused to take questions and walked out of the room. In a statement, the publisher said the Post is evolving in a, quote, tumultuous media landscape to meet the needs of readers. Plans for layoffs are expected to be finalized in the coming weeks.
With the U.S. Postal Service's shipping deadlines around the corner, it's time to get packages in the mail for Christmas. In Colorado, one mail carrier has been doing her best to make sure holiday presents and cards are delivered on time. For 14 years, delivering mail and packages has been Evelyn Pessoa's passion. And this is a passion that's been passed down for generations.
My father started it all, and I follow, my sister follow, my daughter follows, and also my brother-in-law now.
And it's this time of the year when Evelyn and her family really have to give it their all. The holiday season means a lot of long hours for USPS clerks and carriers as they try to keep up with an increase in shipments.
Our what used to be Christmas volume for packages now is almost everyday volume. And then throw in Christmas period, and then we have even more on top of that.
If you see the logo, it makes me proud, you know. It's United States of America, you know, and I love it.
All carriers are asking for right now is patience as they try to get everything delivered on time.
Thousands of families rely on Toys for Tots to make their Christmas bright, but one chapter is struggling to help families after a massive theft. 2/3 of the toys collected in Halifax County, North Carolina, disappeared. Organizers now have to reevaluate who will get gifts this Christmas. One organizer says she thinks someone already had access or scaled a barbed wire fence to snatch the donations.
I'm like, what is this? How do you do this to children? As a young girl, I come from a single parent. And I was one of those kids. I was one of these kids that only got a doll baby.
But in the spirit of Christmas, she's pressing on, set to deliver gifts to families in need on Monday.
There's a leak on the International Space Station. That's according to the Russia's space agency. The agency canceled a 2-person spacewalk yesterday after finding the leak. Ground teams noticed significant leaking of an unknown substance from part of a spacecraft docked to part of the ISS. Teams in Moscow are evaluating the situation and the potential impact for the ISS and attached spacecrafts.
That's a live look over southern Colombia at 4:49. We'll be right back.
This year, give delicious Les Bourgeois wine from the Bluff Top at Rocheport. Shop online at MissouriWine.com with free shipping on purchases of $7.
Welcome back. As that holiday rush kicks in, Denver's airport is rolling out an upgraded baggage handling system they say will be faster and more efficient. And it's the first of its kind in the nation. This is how the new high-tech system TSA works. First stop machines under the airport create 3D x-rays like a CAT scan of your checked bags. Then a room of TSA officers flags security concerns. That brings us to the new technology, automated carts run by Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. These carts individually divert and transport flagged bags to a bag search room for in-person inspections.
We want to make sure that every bag makes it onto the flight. We don't want to be the part that slows things down. And these carts that the airport has invested in help us be as effective and efficient as possible.
With this new technology, it takes most check bags less than 10 minutes to get through all of this. Most passengers have no idea what's going on under the airport, but they're just happy to get their bags safe and sound.
A California woman knows exactly what she is getting for Christmas, her long-lost dog. Sandra O'Neill's anxiously waiting for the return of her dog Zeppelin, who went missing more than a year ago. He was recently found across the country in Kansas. The woman that found the dog brought him into the Wildcat Vet Clinic in Lewisburg, where he was identified through his microchip.
Ultimately decided to keep him at the house overnight and then brought him in yesterday morning. And then the rest is history.
And 14 months after he went missing, his owner, Sandra O'Neill, saw him for the first time over FaceTime.
Hi, baby. How are you? You ready to come home?
One way or another, by car or by plane, he is homeward bound. His owner said this is all she wanted for Christmas.
Your favorite Italian plumbers are arriving at Universal Studios in February. Super Nintendo World is opening its Universal Studios Hollywood location. The Hollywood location will be the first Super Nintendo World in the United States. The Super Mario Brothers themed world debuted in Japan back in 2021. You can visit Super Nintendo World when it opens on February 17th of 2023.
Our forecast for today is mostly cloudy. We have temperatures only in the 30s today, around 31 to 33. For your morning temperature, we're around maybe 36 or 37 this afternoon. The wind today is going to be quite breezy, so factor in a wind chill. It will feel like we're in the 20s all day today. Hopefully that signals to you that you should put a coat on. Heading into the next few hours, well, lots of clouds. Maybe even some snow flurries. We have snow flurries already in parts of northwestern Missouri this morning, and some of that activity could spill this way. Just a sign of how cold the air is moving in. Not shocked if we see some of that activity today. We're down to 32 tomorrow, 32 also on Saturday, near 40 on Sunday, but then it gets colder even next week. Highs in the 20s starting Thursday of next week, heading through Christmas weekend.
A man in Florida had to go without his dinner last night after it was stolen from his front porch. Check this out. A black bear was caught on camera in Seminole County swiping the homeowner's Chick-fil-A dinner off his front porch. The homeowner can be heard saying in the video doorbell footage that the bear got away with 30 nuggets and a large fry, but that the animal did not want anything to do with the salad. Roughly 1,200 Florida black bears inhabit Seminole County and the greater east portion of the state. Now, I don't know. I don't think I'd mess with that black bear. I think he could have all the chicken nuggets he wants from me.
I don't think I even knew that there were bears. I mean, this sounds very ignorant, but I didn't know that there were bears in Florida.
I had to think about that for a second, and it's more of something that happens in northern Florida that they kind of travel in from Georgia.
Yeah.
Then you go into southern Florida and you have to worry about the pythons. So it's there's all kinds of messy stuff.
I'd rather
in Florida,
take the bear
right?
than the python.
Florida is the Australia of America. All right, still ahead, another full hour of news and weather from KOMU 8 News Today. That's coverage you can count on. But first, a live look over downtown Columbia.